Good day, YouTube. It's the 27th of August, 2025. This is my 1936 Ford 1.5 ton truck. And I only have a few videos on it. I actually bought this truck before I was even doing YouTube. And I know it's kind of been a catch-all for different things, but we'll get it kind of cleaned off this winter. And we might even get started on this build. This is going to be what my wife and I are calling a gypsy wagon or a Bardo or a house truck, etc. And today's going to kind of be a start of a piece of this house truck. Anybody want a cat? It's not mine. Get out of here. Come on. She just cruises through here like she owns the place. Anyway, different things have been purchased throughout the years for this build. I mean, I have built the floor, I've extended the frame, we put a big fuel tank in it, put a back bumper on it, etc. Those light fixtures, if they're all for this build, there's a number of things up there, including a vintage doorbell off of it. In fact, I think there's two of them. In fact, one of them's mounted to the wall there, and etc., etc. This has an 8BA flathead in it. Other than that, it's completely stock except for the wheels, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a fun build. This Magic Chef stove is for that build. This Panel Ray heater, propane heater, is for that build. And recently, we purchased this ice box for the inside of the gypsy wagon, and yes, it was $125 at a yard sale in Brownsville, Oregon. Obviously it's been painted, it's been stripped not very well, and the top needs to be redone. So that is what we're going to start today. We're not going to do it here at the barn. We're actually going to take this to my newly renovated wood shop at the house and redo this top. I'm not by any means a master woodworker, but in fact I didn't even know how to get the top off of this cabinet, and my father-in-law came over and removed it. He used an oscillating tool to come in and cut the nails, and that has been completed. This top will come apart. As you can see, it's come apart. It's kind of a tongue and groove deal, but it's been separated. So we're going to glue this back together, get it planed surface to make the top nice. We're going to work on getting the rest of the paint out of the wood grain and finish renovating this North Pole icebox. So without further ado, let's put it on the trailer. I'll take these top pieces off, put them in my tracker. I got the trailer behind the tracker. Trailer's behind something always, and we'll take it home, get it unloaded, and get started on this. My goal is to make the top nice. It's a significant piece of this puzzle. You can see this seam here is intact and looks great, but over the years the wood has shrunk or whatever, and anyway it has come apart. So the intention isn't to make it perfect, it's just to make it much better. Take it from a 2 to an 8. How's that? And then go through the rest of this, get the rest of the paint off of it, clean up the hardware, and then put a finish on this of some sort, and make it ready for its final home, which is the gypsy wagon. Okay, here we go. All right, boys and girls, we are taking these nails out, and I'll show you the first one I took out. I'm not going to do another one that way. I drove it out from the bottom through the top, and the head pushed through, took a big chunk of wood out. So we're not doing that anymore. So what I'm doing now is taking the punch and drive them through from the top through the bottom, and then I end up just with a round hole, which I would have ended up with a hole anyway. That almost looks like a fill, doesn't it? But I didn't find a nail there. Oh, that's right. I did go through there with a drill bit in the drill over there to be sure there were no nails. I'm going to run this through the planer, and the last thing I need is to hit a nail. So again, I punched the nails out from the top through the bottom, so if it tears the wood out, you won't see it. So 2 nails in these corners. Got 2 nails in these corners as well. I went through and with the punch, and if there was still a nail here that they didn't pull out, again, my father-in-law did this for me. I really didn't know how to get this top off, and I drove those nails down. We'll, kind of glue this up a little bit, throw a few brads in it when we're ready. Got to get rid of all this goop in here and make these nice and seamless there. So I'll show you this one, this piece. So we got a nail there and one on the other side. So we'll flip this over and find it. I don't have a tripod or a stand for my camera, so it's hard to show you some stuff what I just can't do by hand. So we got to find this from the top side. It's going to be right there. Okay, so I bought this set of punches at Harbor Freight just today because I didn't have much here in my wood shop, and we'll just line that up and drive it out maybe an 1/8 inch, 3/16, something like that, and then pull it out with the side cutters. Let me show you the set that I got. So a nice set of punches, and I bought a set of chisels while I was there. The only chisel I have here is over here, really old. I did try to sharpen it a little bit on the belt sander today, just so it was something. So everybody's got to have a junky chisel, and there is mine. And then I got a decent set, well, a set. I don't know if it's decent or not. So one of these was 15 bucks, one was 10. So this is $25. I can't remember which was which. But anyway, these should do me just fine. And they are working fine. So I'm going to finish getting the nails out of all of these, and then go to work on getting all the goop out of all the seams with some sharp chisels, some sandpaper, etc. So we can get these things glued back together. I want to glue them back together before I run them through the planer. And so, guys and gals, I haven't used this wood shop in 12, 15 years. Most of the tools were here or in here, and this shop kind of went to heck. But I bought basically kind of all new tools that I needed over at the barn. So I don't know the condition of the knives and that. I think they've never been even flipped over, and there may be another set in there somewhere. I'll have to check. Even my chop saw, I have 2 other chop saws at the barn, and this one has been in here the whole time. So everything I've cleaned up and put back in the shop, put new sandpaper stuff, new blades, and etc. I had to replace the drill press and the grinder with some used ones, and because I had stole them from here and took them to the barn, I'm not bringing them back. So yeah, this is you can watch my couple videos on bringing this shop back to life. I had to jack it up, the whole building, and put some treated boards so we could set this down on a new concrete floor. Yeah, it's been my summer, quite honestly, and getting everything back in here. We're getting very, very close. We're cleaning up some stuff that we moved next door. This is 12 by 24 in the shop next door. is 17 by 24, so we've got a little more to go. We're cutting up some wood. We've got a cute little potbelly wood stove next door. And we used to have sales in there, like shabby chic sales, and garage sale, flea market, holiday bazaar kind of things. And my wife and her sister might resurrect that, so we're going to fix that place up too, get it repainted, new TVs and radios, stereo stuff, So let me go to work. I'm getting these nails out. I'll come back when we got all the boards ready to clean them up. There we go. All right, boys and girls, here's where we're at. I've been working on this stuff for probably, I don't know, an hour and a half or something. I was working on these grooves to try and get this gap tight. And I've got it about as good as I can get it. I got some clamps on there temporarily. It's not glued or anything. But I was making sure I was going to be able to get it tight. And then what happens is we get a little bit of warp or a little bit of bend up. It's a little bit high here. I think it's also a little bit high here, but it's not just, maybe it is. So when I clamp this, we're gonna have to use some bar clamps, lay this flat, clamp it flat, the whole thing. Okay, so I'm gonna do this, and when I do glue it up, we'll do it in two pieces. We'll have this piece, then we'll have this piece, because my planer is only so wide, right? So yeah, got to be able to get it through the planer, and I haven't even measured that to see if it goes, but I think it does. My hand plus 2 inches. Oh yeah, it'll go through there just fine, and so will this. I'll just run this one through at the same thickness, run this one through without changing anything, so that they end up same. I don't need to do the back sides, just the top, just enough to clean it up. These black marks, I did sand on them for a little bit. They are going to be tough, but we'll see if we can get them out. We'll have to fill the nail holes and etc. I'll show you, this is the time consuming thing, is working on this jointery, because this is how we started off. Had some paint, different finishes, a bunch of gook. So yeah, it's a combination of scraping this, sanding it. I use the sander as well. My wife and I forever loved these Porter Cable sanders. I just put new pads on them all. We have 3 of those. You can kind of put different grits on them. They all have brand new pads on them. They're all cleaned up, ready to go. We were kind of in the business of shabby chic and furniture and stuff as a side hustle some years ago. And we did a lot of sanding right in this shop with a wood floor. So I'll continue working on this, and then I'll bring it up and we'll start fitting it like we've done here. I am glad it's kind of up on that side and up on this side. I thought that it had a warp in it, but right now it's just twisted at the joint, and that's fine. We can work with that when we actually glue it up, and it'll be fine. So I'll pull those clamps off and start fitting that piece, and then we're down to this guy here, the end piece. Not too bad. I did sand the front half of the top of this thing. I still have the back half to do. Piece of cake. And I get that top done. So it's 4:30. I'm not going to work out here too much longer. Take a little break. Come back out here tomorrow. Finish working on the top. Maybe get it glued up tomorrow, and then we can go to work picking out the paint stuff that's still left in this cabinet. See if we can get that all gone away. We'll probably pull the doors off, clean up the hardware, etc. Pretty cool piece. I really like it. love the inside color. I don't think we'll do anything with the inside, but we'll see. I showed you the sign that was on it when we were at the yard sale, $125. I looked at it for a long time while we were at the yard sale, and I actually walked away, and we were at the next yard sale, and I told my wife, I said, okay, I can't take it, I gotta go back and get that ice box. Okay, so we went back. I said, on the way back, I said, if they'll take a $100 bill, we'll buy it. So, and as I offer a $100 bill, I get it out of my pocket and show the bill. I always do. I always think that helps. So, showed them the $100 bill. They took it immediately, and then helped us load it. This thing is unbelievably heavy. We had the Bronco, so we had to get it in the back. I am going to take, I'm not sure what that plywood shelf thing is all about. I intend to remove it. It would look good repainted inside. I'm not sure that we'll do that. There is a small possibility that I will harvest a cooling unit from an apartment size refrigerator and retrofit it to this. Small chance. But obviously that's where the ice goes, and it would drain out through a drain in the bottom, and you could actually slide a pan underneath. Yes, that's hinged, so you could have a big drain pan underneath there and pull it out once or twice a day and empty it. Or if you forget, it'll run out on the floor, remind you. Anyway, the 3 shelves are still there. That's good. I just don't like this added stuff, so it's probably going away. Yep, it's going away. Guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Well, guys, it is the next day. I've been cleaning up these joints and then clamping this together, making sure I've got decent gaps and everything. So just took a lot of work. You know, you just take your time and sand it and fit it. If it doesn't quite go all the way together, then you kind of work on it a little more. You can kind of see on the ends, and again, these clamp together pretty well, but they do like to do like that, so got to get them a little flatter, and I think I'm ready to glue this up. So I don't even know that I'll glue everything today. Well, here's what's going to happen. We're going to glue this side first, and then this side second, again, so I can get them through the planer, and then once planed, we'll glue the whole thing together, and hopefully they line up pretty good. We'll have to use the bar clamp so we can keep it flat, okay, but I might do this one and then do this one later, just because the number of clamps I have. I think I have 5 bar clamps. These other clamps just won't hold it flat. You can't lean them up against the bar. So I have 5, so that's what we'll do. So I'm going to pull these off, set them aside, and then get these glued up, clamped up, and so they can dry today. Tomorrow maybe we'll do the other ones. We don't have to be in a hurry. I soaked last night. I grabbed some paint thinner. I don't know how good a job it did. And to clean up these hinges, they're not brass. Well, they might be brass, but they're nickel plated or something. But they got a bunch of finish on them. So the paint thinner did help to remove that, but it's not great. I think I'm going to go get like SOS pads so I can get the rest of this finish off easily and get all the hardware and the screws and stuff cleaned up, so they'll go back on. I did take all the doors off yesterday. I don't think I filmed that, did I? So we can work on cleaning the paint out of them. So yeah, I think they'll be fine. No surprises there. We've got a gap here, but then there are gaps everywhere. So anyway, that is to be expected when you get to be 100 years old. So I'm going to get these things, get this side anyway, glued up, clamped up, and we'll move on to cleaning up hardware for a little bit. And then we'll move on to getting some of this paint and stuff off the doors first, and then we'll work on this cabinet. All right, here we go. All right, here's your noon update. Yeah, today is a Thursday. What day is today? 28th or something, I think. Anyway, this is glued up. I got all 5 of my clamps on it. I also put a couple boards on the end and clamped them down to make sure they're dead straight. These did not have a tendency to curl or anything, so I wasn't forcing anything. The seam came right together as I hoped. As good as could be expected, I guess. So that looks good. I am cleaning up hardware over here. I have been soaking whatever this finish is that got on the hinges just in paint thinner. I soaked it all night. Didn't seem to do any good because in an hour it comes off pretty good. In an hour, in 20 minutes it starts coming off pretty good. And there's kind of a comparison between the clean ones. I still haven't polished them yet. I'll polish them here in a minute. I got some of this handy, some sort of a metal polish, and I'll give them a quick polish, so forth. Just again soaking them in paint thinner. I got that's 1, 2 hinges to go, 3 hinges to go, and then I have the latches and such. So that's what we're doing. Probably gonna take a quick break, run to lunch, got a couple of errands to do as normal, and come back and continue. Here we go. Looking good so far. All right, boys and girls, where am I on this whole thing? So I needed to place a cart of some kind to put the planer on. You know, I kind of put this together. I bought a couple sawhorses so I can get all the benchtop stuff accessible. Obviously, you can't use like any of them, almost, maybe the grinder, in this configuration. But with a cart, I had room for it, and that's kind of how I did this before. So I had a tool cart with the planer on it, so I could roll it out in the middle of the room, do what I need to do, and then park it again. When I assembled this, of course, I was at Harbor Freight this morning because they had 10% off for everybody, 20% off for inside club members, whatever. So So I got 20% off this. This cart was $103 and change, so 104 bucks. And it has one drawer, and it's a great height, and yeah, it's going to work out really good with the planer. So pretty cool, huh? So I can also take the planer off the cart, set it back on the end of the table, put something else on the cart, put a project on the cart, move things around, whatever. It's going to work out great. I waited till now to do this so that I really had a better feel for the correct cart. What is the right cart? Worked on the planer this morning, and I flipped the blade around, the cutting blade. This has only done enough planing to dull its first blade, and it's two-sided, so flip it around. Now it's got a fresh blade in it, especially for doing this oak, and then it's got spare blades in storage on the other side. I don't know how many's in there, 1, 2, don't know. Anyway, this second half of the top of this ice box had a couple days to dry. It went together real nice, as you can see the seam. I'm hoping that this wood cleans up without taking too much height off of it, but it's really, really a mess. It's worse than anything else on the ice box. I guess we're probably going to make the top better than anything else on the ice box, and that will prompt me to correct as much as possible on the rest of this. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect, but somebody stripped the paint and, you know, kind of quit before they got all the way stripped. So got a lot of that within the grain. We need to get that softened up and get it out of there somehow or another. This is a really cool piece I bought yesterday. I'm not going to do a video on it. It's called a Conservo. This is patented around 1907. This probably dates to around 1910. It is in fact a steamer, cooker, canner. And I've cleaned it up. It's got a copper bottom. You put about a gallon of water in the bottom. You can put the racks in. There are 4. And you can put up to 14 quarts of whatever it is you are canning in here, which is more than you can put in a pressure cooker. And basically it will cook your canning stuff with steam. It has a tube that runs all the way down with a cap on the top. There's some whistles in here to let you know when water's low and such. I saw a couple demos. These things are super cool. Got it at a yard sale yesterday. It looks like they're selling on eBay. They're made in Ohio or something like that. They're selling on eBay for $7,500, $75 or $100. That sounded bad. I picked it up at some farm sale. Nobody knew what it was, and I thought it was more of a like keep your food warm kind of a device. Wasn't really sure until after I had paid my $5 for it and packed it out to my car. Even the handles are in good condition. I did wipe the whole thing down with SOS pads, get some light rust off of it. I don't think I'll clean it much more than this, but I do need to oil it, and I think I will vegetable oil it so that everything remains kind of a food grade situation. Anyway, kind of cool. I love that stuff. Where am I at? We got to plane the tops. So let's get the planer out. I don't have a tripod with me, so you're gonna see probably before and after. Here we go. All right, I'm just got a piece of scrap wood in here, and I've got a little meter here. It's kind of how mine works. I don't know how they all work. This is the only one I've ever used. And you can kind of adjust this thing down to where the needle moves. So I just want to run something through as a test piece. Make sure everything is cool, because it hasn't been used in 13 years or something. So a very light cut. Make sure everything works good before I run my top through there. So these are noisy. Plug your ears. It's a little shorty piece. I guess that's why we test. Here we go. And whatever I do to one, I got to do the same to the other. These got to end up exactly. Alright, don't screw this up. I'll bring you back. I gotta, woo, take that down. Alright, here was one time through. Took a cut, kind of didn't clean up on the ends too good. Got a lot of junk off the rest of it. Same basic happenings with the other. So let's take a little over a third of a turn. We'll run them through again. Alright, here's my pieces. I actually sanded on this end just a little bit to see. I'm gonna have to belt sand a little bit on these ends. I think it kind of did okay. I was hoping for that this was a little more even, but dusty. And this was kind of a low spot. I tried to support it on its way out. Anyway, once again, I'll get a belt sander and do that. Grooves look good. I'll have to check my fitment again because I've had clamps on it. I got to do some other stuff, and I'm going to the races, second day in a row. It's a little after 2. Excuse me. And I usually leave about 3:30. So anyway, made quite a mess on the floor. Get that cleaned up, and I'll see you tomorrow. Alright, boys and girls, we got it all clamped up. I always put these on, make sure it stays straight. This whole top does kind of have a warp to it. It is what it is. Can't make it perfect. I saw I actually missed a nail. I think it's under here. And yeah, my new planer blades probably weren't happy about that. But anyway, I think the seam came together pretty good. I don't think I matched the height perfectly for some reason. It might be set up on my planer, which I don't know jack about. But it is what it is. Top cleaned up pretty good. We're gonna have to do some serious sanding. I'll get some filler where we start that sanding, get these filled in. But anyway, it's oak. It looks good, and yeah, progress has been made. Tomorrow these will be ready to do something more with. Maybe get those holes filled, final sanding, sand the glue off the bottom, and then start in on the rest of the cabinet and the doors, the hardware. I don't know if I gave you an update on that or not. It's all cleaned up except for the screws, and it came out pretty good. So yeah, we're getting good. We're getting there good. All right, guys, see you tomorrow. Well, guys, I've actually been sanding on this yesterday and today. Today's the Tuesday, so fast forwarding again. So this is, the cabinet itself is sanded. I took that bottom piece off. I still have it to do. I went and got some paint. I've sanded the inside. Here's how the inside's going to go. We're going to put it back white. Underneath the green color, whatever, there was white. I'm sure this was just metal when it was produced new, and it's been painted white, and then it's been painted this color. I don't mind this color. If it was in better shape, I wouldn't even fiddle with it, but it's not. So I sanded it down, and I got a can of Rust-Oleum primer in white, and then we'll go over it with Rust-Oleum gloss white. Got it all taped up so I don't get anything on it. On the wood part that counts. So I'm gonna go get this thing painted. I'll bring it back. Not sure if there's anything else I should mention, but I do want to get this thing painted. I've been sanding all day. I'm tired of it, but this thing is pretty ready for staining. I invited my father-in-law over to go through my cabinet full of stain and bare things and such to determine what we're going to put on this thing for a finish exactly. I want to stain it kind of a medium to medium dark oak. That's what I want. And then the finish, kind of a satin finish on top of that. That's what we're hoping for. Okay. Autumn Bear, what do you think, sweetie? Do you think it should be green? No, Dad. No, Dad. Not green. Okay. All right. Thank you, Adam Bear, for your opinion. Okay? Okay. Let's get to paint. All right, again, it's the next day. Again, it's Wednesday now. The interior white paint has dried. Looks pretty good. Glad to have that done. Got all kinds of paint overspray in my hair. And I washed it a couple times last night, a couple times this morning. I think we're okay. Anyway, got that done. I got a fly stuck in the paint. Great. So these little clips on this side, those little hooks, those hold the shelves. And this icebox came with 3, and they're in pretty good shape. So you just slide them in, be careful not to beat up the paint. And anyway, they just sit there like that. But there's another set of holes down here for another shelf. And then there was a wood shelf over here. Somebody's drilled holes. But it seems like a good place to put shelves. But what would be nice is to be able to come up with those little brackets. Screw in shelf supports. I went on eBay and bought some. Look at that. So I just got them cleaned up on the wire wheel. I'm going to take them out and paint them white. Then we're going to install them. Some of these are a little long. I probably have to cut them off. The screw part, a couple threads anyway. I'll have to measure, make sure they don't pop through anyway. So let me get these painted so we can install them. That's pretty cool. And I want to add 3 shelves, 1 on the bottom and 2 on this side. And I had 11. That auction was for 11. Actually, it was just to buy it now. I got about $22 or something in those. But I got them. It's cool. So I'll get those painted so we can put those in. As for the shelves, because obviously I'm 3 short. I am going to go to Ace Hardware, and they've got some screen of some kind. I'll have to take this with me. That has this 1 inch by 1 inch square. It's like in their loose metal department, and it's like a 2 foot by 4 foot piece that I can cut a piece out of. Obviously I have to cut it wider so I have enough to make this. And then this is like 1/8 inch round stock. You know, it's welded here in the middle. And I was thinking I'd make a jig so I could bend up a square just like this one. You know, like put some screws or something in 4 corners on a piece of plywood. Bend this up, weld it, make 3 of them. Maybe I make 4. 1 for a spare or something. Anyway, and then cut that screen bigger and then peel it out so I can do the same thing. And these are soldered on. So I think I can reproduce that. Pretty good shape. It might be something that I do down the road for something else as well, like my conservo here. Anyway, let me get to that. I'm going to screw the top on to this. It's ready to go. It has, you know, I put straight edges, I clamped straight edges when I glued up the pieces, but the whole board has a little bit of a warp to it. So I need to screw this down, not nail it down. So I went to the hardware store this morning and bought these number 8 by 1.5 inch screws with a really little head. Okay, so I'll pre-drill, obviously I'll pre-drill some holes, measure this out real good. I'll put the screws near where the old ones were. I've used this filler that's supposed to be stainable. We'll see how that works. And get that top screwed on. And hopefully it lays nice and flat. I think it will. It didn't take much pressure to straighten it out just with my hands. So I think we're in good shape there. And then I got my father-in-law coming over to go over finishes. He's been doing woodwork restorations forever. I brought a few more cans of different stains and stuff that I've had at the barn when I was doing stuff at the barn when this shop wasn't usable. And anyway, we'll go over everything. I think we know what we're going to do for stain. Well, he knows what we're going to do. And he's going to bring supplies. Okay. This morning I cut some pieces of this wood. It's kind of a hardwood, I don't know what it is. And put underneath on the inside of both sides. Probably can see it. Anyway, that'll give it something to set on and make it sturdier, because it was not sturdier. And so that's that. Okay, I think we're in good shape. Let me get to work. All right, boys and girls, we're back. It's the following day. It's Thursday now. Working on the ice box a little bit. Quite honestly, I don't feel like just going crazy with it today. Doing some little stuff for the moment anyway. I got all of the hooks painted that supports the shelves yesterday, and we're installing them today. So started putting these in. That one got a little tight on me. That. So I gotta get something to tighten that one up without damaging the paint, and we'll get these installed. That'll be that. And then I was cleaning up the screws. I was soaked the screws in some paint thinner and some paint remover, and these are all stainless, okay? But these, I tried them all, and these are steel. So I need to replace half a dozen screws. These are way huge and ugly, and they held one of the latches on, so the holes were just too big. So I drilled them out to 1/4 inch, glued, and drove in some 1/4 inch dowels. I need to cut these off. I kind of stopped sanding on this till I got the dowels in so I could sand them smooth. Then we'll re-drill holes and put the correct screws in. So I'll probably go down to the hardware place. We have this place, it's called McDonald Fasteners and Tools and such, and get a dozen or more of these stainless wood screws with a nice finished head, and I'll have everything when I put the hardware back on. What else? My father-in-law brought over the stain we're going to use, Early American Minwax, and some wipe-on poly. He said apply it with cheesecloths. I ordered a bunch yesterday on Amazon. It'll be here today, possibly be here now for all I know. I already told you we put the top back on, and I filled the little holes with supposedly a stainable filler. It was priced high enough that I think it will work just fine. Top had a tiny little bit of warp to it in the wood, but that's why I screwed it down, and it went well. So I think that's a pretty good update for today. There's a good chance I'll get some of this stuff sanded today. It is Thursday. I got a few other things going on. So I don't know. We'll see how far along I get. Okay, that's the update. Catch you next time.